Okay, we are going to work on 7.9 now, which is dealing with more radical equations. So we're going to look at a couple different types of things. We'll look at okay, so here we have radical signs on both sides. So what we're going to have to do is just square both sides and then work that out to see what we get. Okay, so squaring both sides. Here we have to square the 2 to be 4. And then this square gets rid of that square root, so that's, and then here the square root just cancels off with the square. 2x squared. Okay, on this side we have to distribute out, so 12x plus 4. Okay, so what we're wanting to do is get all of our numbers and letters on one side. Since our x squared over here is already positive, I'm just going to move everything over here to this side. So I'm going to subtract 12x and the 4 over here. So now I have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. So that equals 0. Now we're going to want to factor. And in this case, we need two numbers that multiply together for the second part. That would be negative 12, and added would be negative 5. But we also have this number here in front that can cause us a little bit of problems. If you remember that handout I gave you on a different way of factoring, if we take 2 times 12, that gives us negative 24. So we want two numbers that multiply together that will equal negative 24, and that are added would give us a negative 5. So we can think 8 and 3, and we want the 8 to be negative, so when we add them we end up with a negative 5. So we're going to rearrange the way this is. So we're going to do 2x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 12. So again, that doesn't change the value of this equation, just changes the way it looks. So now we're going to group these together. Here we can factor out a 2x. We're left with an x minus 4. Here we can factor out a 3, and we're left with an x minus 4. So here we have 2x minus 4, so we'll factor that out, and we're left with 2x plus 3. Now we want to set each one of those equal to 0. So there x equals 4. And x equals negative 3/2. So then we would want to take those and plug them back in to our original equation to see if those actually worked. And if we did, we would find out that this one does not work, the negative 3/2. So the x equals 4 is the answer for this problem. So remember, you have to go back and check your work. When you have dealing with radical signs, you may get an answer, but it may not actually work. So you always have to go back and check. So let's do one other one. Here we have two sets of radical signs. If we do, and we have two sets of radical signs on, say, one side over here, we would want to put one on the other side. But here, since we have one on both sides of the equal sign, what we're going to do is just square both sides. So here we would have to use the FOIL, so it would be and here that just goes away since we are squaring the square root. So here both of these times each other is just going to be x minus 7, because it's like x minus 7 squared and then the square root of that. So that would just equal that. If we do our outer, that is 2 times the square root of x minus 7. The inner, same thing. And then the last is 4. Okay, so here we'll combine like terms. We have an x here. Here we have a 7 and a negative 7 and a 4, but we're going to bring that around to the end. Here in the middle, well, actually we can do it now, so that would be minus 3. So we have that, that, and that. Here we have 4x minus 7. Okay, as soon as we have this radical sign, we want to get everything to the other side except for the radical sign. So we're going to subtract x and add 3 over here so the x's cancel off. And we have 28, so we'll do 4x minus 7. So now we want to get rid of the 4 in front of that. We're going to divide both sides by 4. Then we're going to square both sides again. X minus 7 equals 49. We will add 7. That doesn't look like a plus, but we will end up with x equals 56. So what we need to do then at that point is come back up here and say to our original equation, which would have been this without the squaring of both sides. So we'll say 56 minus 7, which is 49. The square root of 49 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. And then on the right side, 56 plus 25 is 81. The square root of 81 is 9. So that means that x equals 56 is our answer because we put it back into the original equation and both sides equaled each other. Okay, so on this section, again, we're just dealing with more radicals. Again, make sure if you have two radicals in your equations that one's on each side of the equal sign, and then square both sides. If you come down and you end up having a number in front of the radical sign, then you want to divide to get rid of that. On this section, you're going to be doing 1 through 10 all. Okay, so 7.9, 1 through 10 all, and on 7.7, 1 through 14 all. So be sure to ask me questions, send me emails, and then on Wednesday we will cover a little bit more on this, but then we'll do the chapter review on Wednesday, and you will have the test to take home to do over the weekend for next week. God bless and have a great day.